Well, today I'm cutting some cork up for the helix and the rest of the layout. Right here we have a yardstick, and then underneath it is a 1/2 inch plywood that's clamped to my table, and the little piece that's sticking out that I'm going to be cutting is about 3/4 of an inch. I got a mark on my ruler here at 3/4 of an inch, and I just clamp down the cork with the straight edge and mark out 3/4 inch on both ends. And then we take a sharp X-Acto knife and we just cut on the edge like this with the straight edge. Oh. Just gotta make sure we cut the cork, not the straight edge. Alright. Alright, there's the clamp. Clamp down one end, and the other end clamp down. There's the straight edge. Like I said, it's just take an X-Acto knife, and then we just go along the edge like this until we cut it off, and then you get strips like this coming off a roll. Okay, this roll I bought at Staples for about $17. And then I just unroll it like this, and like I said, I take a straight edge that's marked for 3/4 inch. So right where that pen mark is, right by my thumb there. I don't know if you can see it, but anyway. So you just measure out 3/4 inch like that. Not very good, but you get the picture. And then you just cut the strip off, and you end up with strips like this. Now this is, I think, 1/8 thick cork, or 1/16. I should say 1/16 inch cork. That's high enough for me. Some people like it higher. They want to use the cork that you buy at the hobby store, which is fine, but for me, for the size of layout, I just cut this up and use that on the layout. Alright, and we're going to continue on with cutting some more, and then we'll do some cutting plywood for the helix part and the other pieces. Okay, excuse me, I got the whole roll cut up. Alright, this piece of wood was just underneath it, so I don't cut the table up. That's all that it's there for. And there's the whole bundle of cork all ready to be laid underneath the layout or underneath the track. So, like I said, I put it on the helix, but you don't have to. I just put it under there to cut the noise down. So the next step will be to cut the plywood out for the helix and start building it up. Okay, and I'll show you what or how I cut out the plywood next. Okay, I put the template on the 1/2 inch plywood, and then I trace it out with a pencil. Like that. All the way around, and I do that to the whole sheet of plywood, and then I take my jigsaw, like that's right over there already set up. I already started cutting some out. This one here, this template is a 27 inch radius on the inside, And then I just take the jigsaw and I start cutting it out. Okay, so now I got the chop saw set up to cut these blocks. All I did is take one of the original blocks I had, I put it down here, and then I brought the blade down like that, and then I clamped this piece of scrap wood down, and then made a fresh clean cut from the 1x4 or 1x3.5, so they sell it, and then just cut. And these blocks are going to be for the height of the helix in between, and just keep cutting. Take the wood glue, and I use the hot glue gun as well. What's going to happen is you take the block, you put a little bit of, you put some wood glue on it, so, and then you take the hot glue gun just on one side, or maybe both sides if you want, doesn't matter. You put some glue on there, and the purpose of the hot glue is to hold it in place while you put the clamp on it. Okay? That way you don't have to wait 30 minutes for the glue to set properly. So this will increase the gluing faster, I should say. Increase the time for the glue to set. And now that one's done, and then you use the clamp and you just do the same thing on the other ones. Okay? So I'll do that and then I'll be back. And now I'm gonna clamp it back down. Good. Put a couple of clamps on there. Okay, next we take the drills. Let's get a drill going too for this. Okay. You put a pilot hole into the plywood and into the wood. So the blocks here. So we don't split it. Okay, I'm standing inside of the helix. I got that little piece of the track to start the helix comes in. One piece, two piece,
And now we're working on the third one here. But this one is going to be a little bit tricky because this portion here is going to have to be measured separately and cut some wood in there. So it's not your standard blocks. That has to be measured because I'm going over an existing helix, plus I have a track going off of the first helix. So this is going to be tricky here, and when I come over here, this is going to be tricky here. But after that, it's just going to be a repeat of what I did over here, pile it on as it goes up. Okay, now the center line that I drew in is just a piece of block with a hole drilled in for the pencil, and then you just run it on the inside and you just draw it in like that. The only reason I have that is for the cork, where I lay it down, and instead of just measuring it out, it's a rough circle. It's going to be not perfect because we're running on the edge here. I don't have a perfect cut. So the next step over here, get this out of the way, is to put the cork down. Alright, so take your contact cement, apply some onto the plywood here, and then apply some to the back of the cork. Wait 20 or so minutes, and then just glue it on and sand it down, and then you're ready to put in some track. Alright, so that's where we are at, and next we'll do the cork. I've applied the glue where the center line goes. Doesn't have to be neat because the cork's going to go on there. Then I took those strips that I cut and applied glue to that. Okay, I should say contact cement. That's what I'm using right there. The reason I'm using this type of contact cement is that it doesn't smell, doesn't have no odor. Like the other stuff that you got has a real strong odor and gives you a headache and everything. So I use this stuff here, and you can use it and it doesn't smell, so it's all good. Okay, so the next thing we do is wait for this to cure a little bit, and then put it on, then roll it, then sand it, then we apply track. Okay, that's the next step. Well, I'm back here again inside the helix. I've got the cork down. I sanded it down with my sanding block, and I put down the track. Excuse me, I got a cold here. And excuse me, to fasten down the track, I used number 4 3/4 inch screws and number 6 washers. Okay, and it's a yellow handled screwdriver for the screw. And I pre-drilled the hole for the screw with a drill. I think it's I can't remember what side that is. I'll look it up in the next one. Anyway, I pre-drilled the hole, and it's easier to drive it into the plywood. Okay, so we got this section all done here, and got the cork all the way down over here, and then we're going to be doing the next section, which is going to be a little bit more difficult because the space over here is greater than my blocks because it's coming over a portion of the helix that's lower than the top level. So what I did is I took my level and I just shimmied it on the bottom of the level until it was level here. So now we put it up here, and then we press this up. There, now it's level. So now the grade is the same as the helix below. So now what you got to do is measure the distance from the bottom of the plywood to the top of the plywood, which the top of the other helix below, and then you just cut your block, place it under, screw it down just like I did over here, and then you just continue on. So this little piece here is going to be a little bit tricky because I have to place the block here and measure it, put the piece on, then I have to put the other piece here with the proper blocks, and then again measure the distance here and cut the blocks separately. So that's what we're going to be working on next. And the next video, the next section, I'll show you when it's all cut inside and then put the cork on. Okay? Welcome back to the th&b layout, and the last helix is done. It is complete and it's operational. We got the bench work for the second level done. Okay, this track over here is just temporary right now. Just put it in to test out the helix. Excuse the mess. I still got to put in center lines, and I've got a little hump over here that I still have to fix. I think I have to cut it back with the jigsaw over there and then bring this grade down. Other than that, the helix is done. Now with this helix being done and this portion of the bench work in, the layout construction is now complete. All major construction is done. So now we have the two levels here with the two helixes. So now you can go all the way around. From the bottom, from the staging, up to the middle, then up to the top. So all construction, or major construction, is now done. All I gotta do is put in the industries up in Brantford area, and then we're done. All track work too. So this should take me another month or two. Anyway, just wanted to show you how the construction of the helix went. It's done, and everything is working fine. The train went through it, and we'll continue on with the rest of it. Okay, let's see if I can show you that hump. You know what, I'll run a train through it and then you can see.